everybody, what's up? It's Meg. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new to my channel, please make sure to subscribe for future beauty, fashion, and lifestyle videos. And if you've seen my face, thanks for sticking around. You may or may not have noticed, but I actually colored my hair, and I'm definitely gonna butcher this word, but I got a brown balayage. And it's basically like an ombre that starts up a little higher, so they're kind of like, it's kind of like a mix of an ombre and highlights, but they're just very blended highlights. So I really like it. I think it turned out pretty well, so let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. For today's video, I'm going to be doing something a little bit different, and I'm going to be testing internet DIYs or internet inspired DIYs. I tried to do this video before, but they all just kind of failed, so I turned it into my spring room decor DIY video, which if you haven't seen already, I'll have it up here somewhere so you can check it out. So yeah, with that being said, let's just go ahead and get right into the video. The first DIY is DIY marbled paper, and what you're going to need for this DIY is paper, obviously, some sort of stick, maybe even a toothpick, a plate, shaving foam, and food coloring or paint. So you're going to start by layering your shaving foam on top of your plate, and then you're going to put in a few drops of food coloring, and then take your stick and just make whatever design you want by spreading out the food coloring. So I used blue food coloring just because I really like the color blue. And then take your paper, and you pretty much just want to take one side of it and put it face first into the shaving foam, and just make sure that all of it gets covered, and then take either a stick or a piece of paper and just scrape off the rest of the shaving foam on top. I ended up using a napkin as well because it was so hard to get off, let me tell you. And I first did this on orange paper. This is how it turned out, and then I really liked it, so I wanted to try it on some white paper, and I just think this is such a cool DIY. I was really not expecting this to work out that well, but it did. It gets a little bit messy, but I definitely think it's worth it, and this would be really cool if you put this on some cardstock paper and wrote thank you notes or something. Yeah. For the next DIY, apparently if you take any coloring sheet and color it with some colored pencils, you can make any colored pencils like watercolor if you take some oil and rub it over your paper. And I guess this DIY worked a little bit. I just took this picture of a cupcake and colored it in. I don't know if you can really tell, but I did the oil up here, kind of about half of the cupcake, and then at the bottom of the cherry on top. And I'm not really sure that it did much of anything. I think if you had more pigmented colored pencils, it might work better, but you also need a lot of oil for the colors to run together, and it just makes your paper super oily, so I don't know if I would necessarily recommend this DIY. I'm pretty sure I've done something like this before in 5th grade, and it turned out pretty cool, but I also remember using markers and not colored pencils. So I'm gonna have to give that DIY a thumbs down. On Pinterest, I stumbled across this really cool trick where if you take a white crayon and write anything on a sheet of paper, and then take watercolor and paint over it, the watercolor won't stick to where the crayon was, so you'll have this cool little decoded message. So I just took a sheet of paper and wrote hello on it with my crayon, and then I took some red watercolor and painted over that. It technically did work, but I'm not really sure if I would recommend you trying this. Maybe I should have put more pressure on the crayon when I was writing and used a darker watercolor, but I just did not have much luck with this. So I'm going to give it a thumbs up because it technically did work. For the fourth DIY, if you take any sort of object, preferably something that's a little bit more of a block shaped. I didn't really have anything to use, so at first I used the lid of a mason jar, and take some string and wrap it around your object. I took twine because I didn't have string and then you just go ahead and dip that into some paint. You can use it as a stamp and make cool designs on your paper. This hack definitely worked, but because I wasn't using the right objects, this is how my art turned out. For the last DIY, I'm sure all of you have seen this one before, but I tried to make my own glow-in-the-dark mason jar, and I actually did a little bit of a twist on this because I know some people just use a mason jar and glow sticks and just cut open the glow sticks and then put all of the stuff inside of the mason jar. But because glow sticks only stay lit for about 24 hours, I decided to do something a little bit different, learn from my mistakes of trying to make your own alternative to this DIY. But I just took a mason jar, some galaxy colored paints, and then a glow-in-the-dark paint. And let me just show you how this turned out. Alright, don't laugh, this is embarrassing, but this is how my jar turned out. As you can see, I just have patches of different colored paints, and then I have some stars, if you will, that I painted white and then put some glow-in-the-dark paint on top of. And first of all, it would be really cool if the paint were on the inside so it could shine through the paint on the outside, but I did too thick of a layer for the paint on the outside. And here's another thing, the glow-in-the-dark paint has to be activated first, and it fades very quickly. Maybe I just didn't use enough of it, but it fades pretty quickly. So I will have to say that this DIY is indeed a fail. I'm sure that if you did it the correct way, it would look so much cooler, but I just had to put my own twist on it, and I regret that decision now. Alright, so that's it for this video. I wish more of these DIYs were successful. Now that I think about it, I could have done a better job on some of these DIYs. But I thought you would still enjoy and maybe learn from some of my mistakes. So if you did enjoy this, please give it a huge thumbs up. Share this video with your friends if you liked it and you think they would like it too. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I'll talk to you all in my next video. Bye guys!